Is Manchester City killing football, or are we simply witnessing one of the greatest eras any club has ever produced? Because when you look at what Manchester City have built under Pep Guardiola, it feels less like a team going on a good run and more like a machine engineered to remove uncertainty from a sport that once thrived on chaos. And for fans of rival clubs, it can feel suffocating watching the same sky blue ribbons wrapped around the Premier League trophy year after year, as if the script has already been written before a ball is even kicked. And that is the heart of the debate, because football has always sold hope. The idea that this season might be your season, that a smart signing, a new manager, or a lucky run of form could shift the balance of power. Yet City's relentless consistency makes that hope feel fragile and sometimes even delusional. So the question explodes across social media and fan channels. Is this dominance destroying competition, or is it simply raising the standard to a level others have failed to reach? When Sheikh Mansour's takeover transformed the financial power of the club, many warned this day would come, that unlimited resources combined with smart recruitment would eventually create a super club. But money alone has never guaranteed greatness. Just ask countless giants who have spent billions without building dynasties. What separates City is not just wealth, but structure, a clear footballing identity, and Guardiola's obsessive attention to detail. From positional play to pressing triggers, to the way fullbacks drift into midfield, turning a traditional back four into a tactical puzzle that suffocates opponents before they can breathe. And when you add players like Kevin De Bruyne slicing defenses apart with surgical passes and Erling Haaland devouring chances like a striker built in a laboratory, the result is a team that does not just win, but overwhelms. And that overwhelming nature is what fuels the fear among rival supporters, because it is one thing to lose a title race by a point after a dramatic final day, and another to feel outclassed in March with weeks still to play. Critics argue that such dominance reduces unpredictability, that it turns one of the most competitive leagues in the world into a procession, and they point to the psychological damage inflicted on rivals. Imagine chasing 90-plus points and still finishing second, as happened to Liverpool F.C. under Jurgen Klopp, when two historically great sides pushed each other to absurd heights, only for City to edge it again and again. That kind of pressure can break teams. It can force risky transfers, panic decisions, and managerial sackings, creating a cycle where clubs chase perfection because anything less is irrelevant. Yet, there is another side to this story, because dominance in football is not new. We have seen eras ruled by Manchester United F.C. under Alex Ferguson. We have watched FC Barcelona mesmerize Europe with tiki-taka, and we have seen Real Madrid CF collect Champions League trophies with almost mythic inevitability. Greatness tends to cycle through the sport, leaving scars on rivals and memories for generations. So perhaps what feels like the end of competition is actually the beginning of a new standard, forcing everyone else to innovate, adapt, and evolve. Because if City are killing football, why do television numbers remain strong? Why does global interest in the league continue to grow? Why do stadiums still sell out? Maybe what fans truly resent is not dominance itself, but the feeling of powerlessness, the idea that no matter what their club does, it may never be enough. In the Guardiola era, margins are microscopic, tactical mistakes are punished instantly, defensive lapses become goals within seconds, and midfield battles are orchestrated with almost algorithmic precision. And this hyper-efficiency creates the illusion that City are unbeatable, even though history tells us no dynasty lasts forever. Injuries, aging squads, financial regulations, and simple human complacency eventually erode even the mightiest empires. The fear, however, is rooted in the present, because when City string together winning streaks that stretch for months, when they rotate squads worth hundreds of millions without visible decline, it challenges the romantic unpredictability that made the Premier League famous. But perhaps the real issue lies deeper in football's financial ecosystem, where revenue disparities between top and bottom clubs widen each year, where Champions League qualification brings exponential rewards, and where smart clubs leverage global branding to multiply their advantage. City have mastered this ecosystem, blending analytics, recruitment, and coaching into a seamless pipeline that identifies undervalued talent, integrates them into a defined system, and replaces departing stars without collapse. And that sustainability is what makes rivals nervous, because it suggests this is not a fluke run driven by one golden generation, but a long-term blueprint. Yet calling it the death of competition ignores the resilience of other giants. Arsenal FC have rebuilt with youth and tactical clarity. Chelsea FC continue to invest heavily. Bayern Munich dominate domestically but still face European threats. And across Europe, ambitious projects rise and fall in cycles. Competition evolves, it does not vanish. And perhaps what City's streak is a stress test for the sport, exposing weaknesses in governance and parity, while simultaneously showcasing the heights football can reach when strategy aligns with execution. For neutral fans, there's awe in watching near perfection, in seeing coordinated pressing traps unfold like choreography, in witnessing center backs step into midfield and wingers tuck inside to overload half spaces. For rival fans, there's frustration, sometimes bordering on despair, because hope feels conditional on City slipping rather than their own club soaring. And that emotional imbalance fuels the narrative that football is broken. Yet sport has always oscillated between dominance and disruption. The invincibility of champions makes the eventual fall down more dramatic when it arrives, and it always arrives, because players age, managers move, tactics grow stale, and hungry challengers learn from the master. Guardiola himself has spoken about evolution, about how opponents adapt, forcing him to rethink structures year after year, and that constant reinvention is evidence that competition still breathes beneath the surface, forcing City to refine details others struggle to match. So is Manchester City killing football, or are they exposing the uncomfortable truth that excellence requires vision, patience, and ruthless standards that many clubs preach but few truly implement? Perhaps the frustration should not be directed at the champions, but at systems that allow inequality to widen. Perhaps governing bodies must rethink revenue distribution. Perhaps rivals must commit to coherent long-term strategies instead of short-term reactions. Because blaming City for maximizing their advantages feels like condemning an athlete for training harder than the field. And yet the emotional argument persists, because fans crave uncertainty, they crave title races that swing wildly, they crave underdog stories and late-season drama, and when one team appears to industrialize winning, it challenges the narrative foundations of the sport. But remember, even in this era, City have stumbled. They have been knocked out of cups, they have faced tactical puzzles, they have needed last-minute goals. Dominance does not equal invincibility. It simply means excellence sustained longer than most. So maybe instead of asking whether City are killing football, we should ask whether football is entering a phase where the bar has been permanently raised, where 90 points becomes the minimum requirement, and where tactical sophistication filters down the pyramid, forcing academies to rethink development, forcing scouts to search smarter, and forcing managers to innovate rather than imitate. Because if City are killing football, if rivals respond with creativity and courage, this era could spark a renaissance rather than a funeral. And when the next champion finally topples City, it will feel seismic, precisely because the standard was so high. In the end, football survives dynasties. It absorbs them into history, turning present frustration into future nostalgia. One day, fans might look back on this Manchester City run not as the death of competition, but as the chapter that redefined it, the period when control and precision reached unprecedented levels, and when every challenger had to decide whether to complain about the mountain or learn how to climb it. And that decision, more than anything, will determine whether City's streak becomes the end of competition or the catalyst for its greatest evolution yet.